Hello, it's Heidi. Welcome back to another video. Oh man, okay. So I have been in a funk effing or funking, uncomfortable, not knowing what the hell's wrong with me or been wrong with me. And that's where I've been. And it's really funny because when things are going great, like we don't stop and we feel like $1,000,000, like nobody stops and goes, oh my God, what's wrong with me right now? But as soon as we feel bad, we act like that's not a normal feeling. And then we start to question and go, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Why do I feel this way? And so just perplexed at what it is, we end up calling it a funk because we don't know what else to call it. So that's where I've been, feeling sad, feeling pissed, feeling anxious and irritated and bored. And knowing that when I feel that way, one of the things I want to do is like eat everything in sight, but remembering I'm managing an eating disorder and those things just make me feel worse. So, on top of feeling anxious and pissed and bored, now I feel shameful and regretful. So, that's not good. And so, coping this weekend or coping this past week involved, who am I kidding? I didn't feel like coping this last weekend because that's what's happening when you're in a funk. Ironically, you don't want to do the things to help you cope. So, not that I like want to be the mood police or anything, because honestly, I can't stand when people used to be like that with me. And sometimes people would do that to me. Like often, they would come up and they would be like, "What's wrong with you? Are you okay? Like, you don't seem like yourself." And I would get so annoyed. And I know now that I used to get asked that question all the time because I used to walk around with like a perma smile on my own face and be like, just underneath was like the rageful cheerleader that would be like, awesome, 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 or we, I'm just pretending to be feeling a lot better you know, than I was. But hey, look, I'm not awesome. I've actually been in a funk. Um, I remember the day when I actually couldn't identify any feelings that I used to have other than feeling really rageful or really sad or really shameful or really regretful. And, these days I don't, now I have, I feel a lot of other things on top of that, right? But I don't have the luxury of doing what I used to do in the past, which wasn't really a luxury. It was terrible, but running to French fries or Chinese food or wine because, in a world of like immediate gratification, we just kind of want to push these feelings away and get out of our funk as quickly as possible. So I wanted to get out of it as quickly as I could because look, the reality was I did have things to do and people to help and videos to make and a toddler to play with and a husband to connect with. But listen, none of those things are when you're in a funk are getting, or for me anyway, are going to get done the way that I want them to get done. And so now here I am at a crossroads. Okay. And guess what? It's fucking okay. There, I said it. Is actually okay that I'm having these feelings right now, or that I've been in a funk for the last week or even longer. Heaven forbid. Oh my God, you've been in a funk for longer than a week. So listen, the thing is that in order to actually even think about coming out of a place like this, I know for me, I have to stop the judgment around it because 9 times out of 10, it's not even the funk that we're in that's the problem. It's the judgment around the funk that we're in. Like the things that we feel like we have to be doing instead, or I have to get my shit together. I have to be happy because I have to do all this stuff that I'm supposed to do. And that's where the problem really lies, is just not in the acceptance. So guess what? I'm practicing radical acceptance and have been. It's not necessarily even by practicing radical acceptance that the moods have changed. It's just that I make it okay to be in whatever shit that I happen to be in. And that's what I want for most of us. And here's the reality. I didn't post a video last week because I felt like I was in a funk, but guess what? Nobody died. I didn't like as enthusiastically play with the Barbies as I wanted to. But guess what? Ellie didn't like even bat an eyelash. She didn't even notice. And I might not have connected with my husband the way I really wanted to connect with him, but I told him how he's feeling. And guess what? We connected in other ways just by sharing with him what was really going on with me. And I was able to help people by just being present for them, just like suspending whatever was going on for a few minutes. So my clients, of course, didn't notice that. So the reality is like the harshness, like we're thinking, oh my God, the world's going to end because we're in this funk. It doesn't. It's just like you acknowledge and accept it, when you allow your feelings, like you allow all of them, you just take the judgment out of it. Here's the deal. In life, I know I have to remember the tide comes in and the tide goes out. The seasons change. There's a winter, a spring, a summer, a fall. Do I actually think that I'm the only living being on the planet that doesn't have to succumb to the rules of the universe? That the tide comes in and the tide goes out, and sometimes, I mean, it's really ridiculous to think that it's that I'm not subject to the same kind of the tide comes in, the time goes out. Like the seasons change. It's okay to be a full human being and not have to push it away or stuff it down or fix it right away, but just to be present with it, and that's okay. This too shall pass. But I have to be willing to accept it for what it is. But I'll tell you what, me this week accepting it for what it is and not fighting it and not pushing through and doing like a fake, like, hey, here's my video this week, and didn't feel like it. But I'm being authentic and just sharing with you, I know what's been going on with me. It's because when I can like allow all the seasons in my life to happen, I have that much more gratitude for when I am actually awesome. Right. So, how do you handle your seasons change with your moods? Are you trying to push them away, eat them away, drink them away, pretend they're not there? Are you practicing radical acceptance? And let's be honest, and the days of immediate gratification, that was a much more attractive route, because when you practice patience and compassion, let's get real, that shit takes longer to feel better, doesn't it? When you're practicing compassion and patience, that it takes a lot longer to get out of your funk than if you just had some wine, right? So what are you doing these days to move through your feelings and accept your feelings and just kind of like get rid of the suspend the judgment? I'd love to hear your comment below. As always, take excellent care of yourself. Wherever you are, it's perfect. I love you, and I'll see you guys in another video. Let me pull this up here. Okay, love you. Bye.